What is up? This is it. Chris Tabor coming to the stand following the Jaguars blanking the Carolina Panthers 26-0. Let's see what he has to say right after this.
Hey, I thought it was all over.
So, yep, this is Chris Tabor following that 26-0 Jags loss. I'm going to give it to him. I'm let down as a Carolina Panthers fan, but I'm going to do these breakdowns regardless right here. My name is Nick. This is Real Coverage. Let's get to it.
How you doing? You good? All right, I'll just go over injuries right quick. Cade had a finger, did not finish. Marquise Haynes, he's actually being further evaluated for a concussion. So that is where he's at right now. And then obviously Pinheiro did not play. Had a little hamstring there. So with that, I'll answer any questions.
With Marquise, is he just being evaluated here?
He is. So that stuff's still pending right now.
And so you don't know if he'll be able to fly back?
I do not at this time.
How did Eddie's situation play out?
We were in pregame warm-up, and we went through our normal deal. And at the end of the warm-up, he felt a little grab in the back of his leg. Tried to get some more work done on it, and then in pregame, we had a plan there then that, hopefully maybe be able to go inside of 40, maybe even 30 extra point type deal, and keep with Camus kicking off there. So it never got any better. So obviously, when there's only one kicker on on your 48, that's a tough deal.
It's kind of been it's been the symptom of the Carolina Panthers, to be honest. Injuries at the beginning of the season just completely destroyed this team. We finally started to get healthy after the Reich firing, ironically, but we've never really been able to put anything together. Even in this Jags game, I'm going to go to some quick stats. I'm not even going to put them up real quick. Bryce Young was 19 for 32 for 112 yards and an interception, no touchdowns. For example, Thielen had 6 targets for 38 yards, and that was our leading receiver. Okay? That's ridiculous. Just for example, Jacksonville had a single play, the 48-yard pass to Jamal Agnew, that in one pass did more yards than all of our receivers did individually. Come on, guys. Like, this is not winning football, regardless of what this man's going to go up there and say. There's also the same guy that was in multiple articles and quoted by multiple people, including Diana Rossini, Joe Person, Peter King. Not saying him specifically, but you know what? I'm going to say it. They basically said it was Chris Tabor. They said people were going behind his back, and then Peter King confirmed it wasn't one person and Scott Fitterer going behind Frank Reich's back. It was multiple coaches on a regular basis, which means this man was a part of it. Because the 2 holdovers were both rule holdovers that the owner wanted. So this was a plan from the beginning. I'm out on Chris Tabor 100%. I don't think he should ever be a part of the Carolina Panthers organization ever again. And if he went behind his back once, that's enough to say he doesn't ever need to be involved in this ever again. No way.
Had one for the first drive, which would have been a 39-yarder. Any thought there? Or was that...
There was thought, and it's a tough spot. And, it's kind of one of those, which way you're going to go with it. We were moving the football well, so I was going to try to ride that out.
Chris, just to clarify, with Marquise, is he...
Seems to be how he goes. Just in case you guys don't know, I do breakdowns like this on the regular. Did take a little bit of a break for Christmas. Hopefully everybody enjoyed theirs. But normally he comes into these post-game press conferences, black hoodie, very quick to answer, very just giving him, whatever you need to do to get off the stand. That's exactly what he's going to do here. He's going to deliver what he needs to. There's not going to be a ton of jokes. There's not going to be a ton of anything. And then he's going to be the guy that shows up to the next press conference. Watch. Nice, light-colored hoodie, super happy and everything like that. So he's a completely different person. It's Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde between post-game and then during the week. So I think that's a problem for him as well long-term. You need to be honest all the time, and I just don't see it right now. Again, I have my own views on Chris Tabor and his thing, but I just don't think that they really rallied behind him like everybody thought. he would become like a Steve Wilkes, and that was never ever going to be the case.
Being evaluated here in this building or somewhere else?
At the hospital.
Okay.
That's my
For
understanding.
concussion, nothing neck related.
No, for concussion. Yeah.
Chris, the first time this team's been shut out in 22 years, 21 years, did you feel at any point today did you question the effort?
I'm disappointed, obviously, and that's a pretty generic answer. Did not see it coming. I will tip my hat to the Jaguars. But the way we were trending, I did not see this performance coming down. I didn't. It kind of goes back to the first drive deal, whether you wanted to kick maybe a possible field goal there with a backup or with your offense, the way we were moving the ball, and I'm kind of thinking about how we finished the Green Bay game and all those things. I just had a lot of confidence in those guys and doing that. So we never got on track. We talked a lot about starting fast this week and did not do that. So we got one more opportunity. I talked to the guys a lot about really, I mean, it's going to boil down to, and you talk about, the shutout and those things. I get that. How are you going to deal with it? And there's only two choices. It's either character or compromise, and those are questions for everybody. And I think that's we're going to go back to work. They're not going to cancel the last game, and plan on going through the process again, and expect those guys, our players, to go through the process. I have confidence in that they will do that, but we've got one more chance to right the wrong, so to speak.
Just don't see it happening though. Like, okay, the last game is against the Tampa Bay Bucks, division rival, the whole nine. You've played them a ton of times. They are playing for a playoff spot though, so don't get me wrong. Panthers get to end that playoff spot. I'd be super happy. I think it'd be hilarious. Is that actually going to happen? No. I think that they're going to roll. And when he talks about that Packers game is the massive outlier. That Packers game is not the norm, okay? The norm are the stats from this game. For example, we ran 53 plays. Jaguars ran 62. Not too bad. Total yards, 124 by the Panthers and 317. They had one more drive than us. They had 11. We had 10. We had plenty of opportunities. 2.3 yards per play. 67 yards total passing. 1.8 yards per attempt. Sacked 6 times for 45 yards, 57 rushing yards to their 155. We obviously had the interception thrown, nothing crazy on their side. Total possession, 33 minutes on their side, 26 for us. So 26 minutes, we managed to put up a total of 124 total yards. That's good enough for what? What's not good enough for? Because that's not good. That's not good enough to win games. That's not good enough to keep your job moving forward. So I'm going to keep pretending that this Carolina Panthers team is building for the long term, because that's kind of what I've said. It's going to be a long-term rebuild. The complete teardown for Bryce might have been a bit too early, and to be honest, maybe we should have gone a little crazy in the previous draft for offensive line and wide receiver talent. Maybe gotten a Jordan Addison or somebody like that, as opposed to a Bryce Young, and then gone in this draft and gotten somebody. But hindsight is always 20/20, so I'm going to let him finish out this press conference.
Chris, in addition to Eddie, how does the decision go with JC pregame in terms of activating him and then not letting him?
Right, he did some stuff early on. He tested it, and then just kind of as we got closer to game time, it felt like it wasn't going. So we made a move there with Shaq, and JC obviously was available if needed be.
Don't get me wrong. I like Shaq. I loved. I wasn't running roll coverage back then, but I absolutely loved J.C. Horn coming out of college. I love physical man corners. I like his size. I like the speed. I loved everything, especially coming out of South Carolina. I thought he was great. He is destroyed by injuries at this point. To be honest, he's a bust. I'm sorry. We're at the point now where he can't stay healthy for 6, 7, 8 weeks at a time at points. So I'm out on Horn. I would absolutely take his 5th-year option and all that other jazz. Anything we can to try and give him a chance. But if it's not there, man, he needs to go someplace else. We need to get somebody else in there. I like Shaq Thompson, but there's a reason why he's on our team now. So yeah, it's we're really going to have to overpay for a lot of people in the offseason. Really going to have to overpay.
Why wasn't CJ available?
Because we had already made the inactives.
Okay,
This is after the inactives.
okay.
Yes.
What has gone into CJ not being on the roster? He's healthy for the game days.
We elected not to put him up today.
The moment where Bryce went down, particularly that early.
Yeah, that's not an answer to the question, really. But whatever. Just keep doing your thing, Chris.
Sack where he was down for a moment, we weren't sure severity of his injury. What was the process in deciding to have him return to the game?
He was back. They said he was cleared to play, and we put him right back out there.
What was the issue?
He just took a little shot to the back.
Lower back?
Yes, that's my understanding.
With that in mind, he took a pretty hard beating today. Was there anything in particular they were doing, stunts or whatever, that maybe they had not come
I think what happened was we never. I mean, if you look statistically, I mean, it's not. It's definitely not where you want to be. So
Statistically, the last time we were blown out by like 40 points to the Falcons. I'm not even going to go look it up. That's how bad it was. Then we lose this game 26-0, 127 yards. I'm sorry, 124 yards. I'm taking those 3 yards back. But yeah, this is a joke. To anybody that thought that Thomas Brown was the solution, after you decided to fire your head coach, that was not the solution. It was not Chris Tabor. It was not, Wacky McAdoo or any of those people. The best solution was to keep Reich until the offseason and then just fire the whole fucking staff. Because our owner's garbage. I'm going to do a whole video on the whole ice throwing thing. But it's ridiculous that we're at this point and some people are like, oh, next year, we're a 9-win team. 9-win team next year. I don't know where you guys are getting this, but right now this team is still a 5-win team at best next year. That's with a full retool and everything. 5 wins. Now, do I think that they're going to probably win, maybe a little bit more? Maybe we contend to a 6th or a 7th win next year. That'd be great. But we're going to do a real evaluation of this roster in the offseason, and then we're going to compare that to actually how it ends. So many people out there will throw like, oh man, we're going to have 10 wins. We're going to do this. And then all of a sudden the year goes on and they start getting called on that 10-win opinion that they felt so strongly about. And they're like, oh man, you're allowed to change your opinions. Yeah, you're allowed to change your opinion when you lose on that opinion, apparently. So stand on what you believe, man. Stand on what you believe.
That would say that we never got in the rhythm form, and it wasn't good. I mean, what do we have? 124 yards of total offense. That's going to be tough to win games when you do that.
Tough to score points. You had 10 drives and you scored no points. You averaged, since you had 10 drives, 12.4 yards per drive. Congratulations.
Anything else for Coach?
Just kind of in general, Chris, this ends up clinching the number 1 pick for the Bears. I mean, how do you just kind of digest all of this on what you said was a disappointing day?
I'm not concerned about the Bears' first pick. I'm really not. I'm focused in on what happened today and why did it go wrong. Now what I'm going to do is I have another opportunity to come back. Everybody, the storylines that you want to write, I get all that. But I'm going to stay true to myself on the process, another opportunity, and whatever's written is written. But I know that if I shortchange myself next week, then I've compromised.
Compromised when you went behind the head coach's back with the general manager in an attempt to usurp him in favor of the owner.
And what I have to do as a coach and leading this team at this moment is make sure that we're pros, be
Professionals.
a pro,
Be a professional.
do things right, and
Do things right.
be on time and do those things and go through the process to give ourselves a chance.
Like you gave your previous head coach a chance.
No question, did not play well today. I won't hide from that. I won't run from that. But what I will run to is let's go next week and let's play. And I still have confidence in those guys. And this is, as I've always said, coaching is about relationships. I am not going to shortchange those guys. and I think they'll do the same. So I'm excited for the opportunity next week.
Chris, you brought up saying the same. Your players have applauded you for being the same guy throughout this process. Why do you think that there have been so many ups and downs this season, and maybe during this run you've had as the interim head coach, just from an execution standpoint?
Well, I think, didn't play well today. I think I can say
Did we play well, bro? Come on. These are cop-out answers. I'm sorry.
in those other games that we have. And so I'm disappointed, and I'm going to look at myself first, and what do we need to do in order to fix that for this last opportunity. I have to be the same guy. I mean, I don't think a player wants to play for a guy that's high one week and low the next week. He wants consistency. That's what I want, because I think if you can get consistency, then obviously, it'll breed itself later on. We'll stay the course. We lost today bad. Got it. I'm okay with that. Not okay with that. Let me take that back. We're going to move on, and.
To be honest, I would feel bad about it. I would be like, hey, man, this is my responsibility. I'm the interim. I'm the reason that Frank isn't here, X, Y, and Z. And I'm going to, no, you're just going to be like, oh, man, we just need to get better. We need to get better. There's one game left. One. Nobody cares about that last game. It literally doesn't change anything. The only thing it might do is keep the Tampa Bay Buccaneers out of the playoffs in favor of most likely the New Orleans Saints. So it's not really a gimme. I'd rather the Bucs go, give Mike Evans a chance, in the hope and prayer that next year we might be able to bring him over to our side. But hey,
and come out swinging the next week. There's going to be zero quit in this deal. We are going to keep fighting. We are going to keep going, and that's all we can do, because those are our two choices: either character or compromise. And I don't think none of you would want to compromise your job and shortchange yourself and say, oh, we'll just wait till next year. We got to step up, dust off our tail a little bit, and go back to work.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, everybody. Happy New Year, everybody.
Okay. As always, shout out Panthers YouTube. You guys bring us this information, these press conferences and everything like that, and I appreciate that. But one final thing before I send y'all off. We had 124 total yards in this game, okay? The game that Chris Tabor won. I'm going to go to that Atlanta game. 9-7 was the final score. What was the team stats for that game? Total yards, 204 from the Falcons, 283 from the Panthers. So I'm just going to leave you with that little nugget. My name is Nick. This is where we do regular breakdowns. I'm doing a bunch of different teams now. Everybody in the South: Bucs, Saints, Falcons, Panthers. Then I'm adding on Packers, Bears, Texans, and hopefully, as time goes on, all of the NFL teams. But if you want to find out, right here, it's roll coverage. Oops, wrong side. This side, roll coverage. Go check us out on YouTube. Socials are linked below. My name is Nick. Have a great rest of the day. Peace.